what's going on, guys? It's Jay Mass, and I'm back again with another dope New England adventure. It's been several months since the last installment in the series, but once again, we're back. And I'm going to be using a computer program to randomly generate me a set of coordinates here in New England. The coordinates could literally be anywhere in New England, but I have to physically go and check out those coordinates myself in person. So let's just speed through this introduction. I'll briefly cover the rules and regulations of this challenge, and then let's find out where in New England we're going to be exploring in this video.
This is episode 4 of the series, so if you haven't seen them yet, definitely check out the first 3 episodes before you watch this one. Each episode has me traveling to, and visiting, a randomly generated location in New England, and the journey to get to each site was chaotic, but fun. I gotta say, this truly is my favorite series here on this channel so far. These episodes are wicked fun to make. Anyways, you guys already know the rules by now, but I'll very briefly speed through them for any newcomers. I'll be setting limits around the entire region of New England, and using the random location generator program on perchance.org to generate a random set of coordinates within this region limit. Once my coordinates are plugged in, I'll click randomize until I receive a set of coordinates that are doable. This excludes any coordinates that land on private property, or in the middle of a lake, ocean, or hard-to-reach island. After several attempts of generating coordinates that did not meet the guidelines, since New England has a lot of private property, I finally landed on an accessible location. We'll be traveling to the town of Tamworth, New Hampshire, just south of the White Mountains. Specifically, these coordinates are situated within Hemenway State Forest, directly beside Hemenway Road. This seems like a simple point to get to, whether by hiking or by driving, but I fear that driving may be out of the question. We received fresh, heavy snowfall the night before filming, and Hemenway Road looks like a narrow, unpaved dirt road. Having that covered in poorly plowed snow and ice sounds like hell for my car's tires. Thus, I may end up hiking through the forest to the site, but hey, we'll see when we get there. What I do know is that Hemenway State Forest is open to the public, and pretty accessible. Plus, it's only a slight, gradual slope, so any hiking shouldn't be too challenging. I'm already eyeing a few potential hiking trails that could work.
Alright guys, so as always, I'll catch you tomorrow morning, and we're going to travel to the random set of coordinates here in New England that I generated on a computer program. I'm really interested to see what it takes to get to that point and how long it takes, so yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We're going to travel to that point and see what episode 4 of the series has in store. Catch you tomorrow. Alright guys, and it's officially the next morning. I'm parked outside of my place here in Massachusetts, and we're about to embark on our journey up to the randomly generated set of coordinates in the town of Tamworth, New Hampshire, actually located in a public state forest. So I'm really interested to check that out. It is going to be about a 2-hour drive up there, but I do think we're going to be making quite a few stops along the way, probably even driving some back roads to make it more interesting, but all in all, it is about a 2-hour drive up there. Now, I don't think this is going to be the most challenging one yet. It is in a public state forest, of course. There's a lot of hiking trails, should be pretty easy to navigate. But we did actually have fresh snowfall yesterday. There was a huge snowstorm here in New England. And if you know anything about the White Mountains region of New Hampshire, it gets a lot of snow. And the plowing typically isn't great, so it actually might be challenging for my car. Plus, we are going to be doing a bit of snow hiking, so the snow and ice might be more of a challenge today, especially once we're deep in the forest. So I'm really interested to see what that's like. Anyways, guys, let's get started on our journey up. I'm going to head out of Massachusetts. We're going to drive up into New Hampshire and check out these randomly generated set of coordinates. Let's see what today has in store.
Once I was ready to go, I officially departed from my house in Massachusetts, driving past the fresh snow from the night before. I eventually hopped onto US Route 3, heading northbound as I crossed into the state of New Hampshire, driving through the city of Nashua. Luckily, the roads were decently plowed, so this morning's highway driving was nothing challenging. I hopped on to the Everett Turnpike, driving through Merrimack, Bedford, and Manchester, and making very good time. By this point, it was only a little after 9 a.m., and I was quickly making my way through the state of New Hampshire, now merging onto I-93 north towards the capital city of Concord. Although my original plans were to make a few spontaneous stops along the way for further entertainment value, I figured that it was best to just keep driving northbound into the heart of the state, and perhaps stop up there instead. Thus, I kept on going. Suddenly, out of the blue, it began snowing heavily, and it looked like the weather was taking a turn for the worse. I was still driving along I-93, but getting closer and closer to my exit, all while the snow pelted down on me. Eventually, as I exited onto New Hampshire Route 104 in the town of New Hampton, the snow just as suddenly stopped, and things returned to normal again. Brushing it off as a strange fluke, I continued eastward towards the lakeside town of Meredith, where I decided to take my first, and only, major stop of the journey.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's J-Mass again. I'm just making a quick stop right now. We're making very good time. It's about 9:50 a.m. and I have roughly 36 minutes left until I get to the parking area. And then from there, we're gonna see how we're gonna get to the randomly generated coordinates in Tamworth. But again, we're making very good time. It is almost 10 a.m. We pretty much did all the highway driving already. But anyways, right now I'm in the town of Meredith, New Hampshire. It's a beautiful town right along the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee. Actually, what you can see right behind me right now is Meredith Bay, which actually goes into Lake Winnipesaukee, of course, the largest lake here in New Hampshire. I've been to Meredith many times. It's an absolutely beautiful town here in New Hampshire, but I just figured we'd take a little break, take a little quick pit stop on the way, and just explore Meredith a bit. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this have probably been to Meredith in the summertime because that's when it's most lively, but have you ever been to Meredith in Lake Winnipesaukee, that is, in the winter? It's a much different beast than it usually is.
Meredith, New Hampshire is a town situated within the state's lakes region, bordering Lake Winnipesaukee, Lake Wacawan, and Lake Winnisquam, among other smaller lakes. With a population of 6,662 people as of the 2020 US Census, Meredith may be small, but it explodes in size during the tourism boom of the spring and summer. Where I'm currently at is Meredith Village, the town center, directly along the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee. These are the public town docks and piers, with a nice lakeside walking path stretching alongside them, and several shops and restaurants surrounding it. I began walking further down the path, bringing me onto a wooden boardwalk that stretched out further along the shoreline, offering stunning views of the frozen, icy lake. While Lake Winnipesaukee is best known for being a summer retreat, it also offers a variety of recreational activities during the winter months. There were several people out on the lake, most of whom were ice fishing or ice skating, and I even saw a few tractors clearing snow off of the ice. Also, if you ever come to Meredith in the summer, I need to give a shout out to the Town Docks, a common man-operated restaurant that sells delicious seafood. I've been here a few times, and their fried seafood truly is peak.
Check this out, guys. There's a pretty cool map of the town of Meredith right here, specifically of the section along the shoreline of Lake Winnipesaukee. If you're curious where we're at right now, we're actually at this red star. So we're standing right here. This is the parking area, the town docks. And yeah, this is the beautiful town of Meredith, New Hampshire. I've been here many times. Not really often in the winter though. It's interesting seeing it in the winter. By the way, if you ever come up here, it does look like they have a loop and a Meredith sculpture walk, which you can see right here. Never done that myself, but next time I come here in the summer, we'll definitely have to do that. But yeah, Meredith, New Hampshire, beautiful town.
I eventually left Meredith and continued northeast along New Hampshire Route 25. By then, it was around 10:15 a.m., and I was roughly 36 minutes away from the spot I'd be parking at. I drove through the towns of Center Harbor, Moultonborough, and Sandwich, before finally arriving in the town of Tamworth. As I got closer, I knew it was only a matter of time before I'd be trekking through the snowy forest, trying to reach the randomly generated coordinates. And honestly, I had no idea what to expect. After turning onto Route 113, and then onto Route 113A, I was within minutes of the parking lot, with Hemenway State Forest directly to my left. By now, the roads were quiet, and I was entering a more remote part of town.
Alright guys, so we've officially arrived at the trailhead for Hemenway State Forest. This right here is actually the trail that we need to take to get to the randomly generated set of coordinates. So we are going to be embarking on that very shortly, but I did just want to show you where we're at right now. We're actually in a very rural section of Tamworth. There's like no people or cars anywhere. I haven't seen a single car for the past 5-6 minutes. So yeah, we truly are in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I just parked my car. We're going to be heading down this trail and yeah, let's see what it's like despite these snowy winter conditions.
Having parked in a small icy parking lot right off of Route 113A, I began my trek down the snow-covered trail, heading deep into the quiet, serene forest. Seemingly unnamed, this trail ran alongside the rushing Swift River, surrounded by towering trees, showering me with fresh snowflakes. I gotta say, I was already loving this forest. Having the trail all to myself and soaking in the breathtaking, beautiful nature was genuinely the highlight of my day thus far, but I was unsure of just how long I would be in these woods for.
Alright guys, so I'm just working my way down the trails right now here in Hemenway State Forest, and I gotta say, it is absolutely gorgeous here. The natural beauty and scenery in this forest is truly unparalleled. It's like a winter wonderland. I mean, check out the rushing stream you got right behind me. Check out all the snow-covered foliage and trees. Absolutely beautiful. I gotta say, I think winter is one of the most underrated seasons to go hiking. Yes, it's cold. Yes, you gotta have layers. But winter hiking offers so much beautiful scenery. I truly love it. I think, again, winter is one of the most underrated seasons to go hiking. I personally love it. And that's part of the beauty of this challenge is that would I have gone to Hemenway State Forest in Tamworth, New Hampshire to go hiking in the winter otherwise? No. But the randomly generated algorithm brought me to these coordinates, to this place, and I couldn't be more happy with it. One thing I did want to point out that's pretty interesting about the forest I'm hiking down, or specifically the trail I'm hiking down, might be hard to tell, but these tracks behind me, they're the only human footprints in this whole trail. I'm the only person that's been walking down this fresh set of snow. It looks like snowmobiles actually utilize this trail a lot more in the winter. So this is actually much more of a roadway system for snowmobiles, people on those type of machines. So I guess I do need to keep an eye out for any snowmobiles barreling towards me. I don't know, we'll see. So far, nothing.
Coincidentally, right after I said that, a team of 6 snowmobiles came surging down the trail, although I was able to duck off to the side just in time, as I could hear the loud engines in the distance. This would not be the last time I'd see active snowmobiles during my trek in these woods, and it soon became a common sight. Anyways, I continued onwards, heading deeper into Hemenway State Forest as the sound of the rushing river soon faded. Aside from the thick snow and the occasional hilly slope, the hike was not bad at all, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, keeping a steady pace and taking in the scenery.
So as I continue down this trail, I just want to discuss with you guys the plan going forward and how I think we're going to conquer this challenge. Because I'm not going to lie, it's looking a little trickier than I initially anticipated. So as I stated, we are walking down a trail network here in Hemenway State Forest. And when I was researching this spot, which to be fair, I didn't do too much research, I kind of want to just see what would happen on the journey. But what I did see is that there was a trail network that led directly to Hemenway Road, which is an unpaved dirt path that cuts through Hemenway State Forest. The reason I didn't initially just go down that road is because there was no parking anywhere near either side of the road. I actually had to find a completely different parking spot and head down a trail system to get to that road, or I would have just had to park illegally, which I really didn't want to do that in the snow in rural New Hampshire. So I ended up just going to a public parking lot and heading down the trail network. But the problem is this trail system is not bringing me any closer to my coordinates. It's actually bringing me kind of out of the way. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to see if it brings me to Hemenway Road, because our randomly generated coordinates are actually right alongside Hemenway Road. If this brings me to Hemenway Road, then I can just head north and go right to the coordinates. Or the other option is I bushwhack a little bit. Now Hemenway Road is actually right over there past the woods. So what I would have to do is enter the woods and just bushwhack all the way over there, which I don't know if I necessarily want to do all that bushwhacking. There will be a little bit of bushwhacking to get to the actual coordinates themselves, but that'll be a little more simple and easy to do from the road. So I don't know what's going to happen yet. I'm going to walk down this trail system a little bit more and see what the best option is. But if it doesn't bring me to Hemenway Road anytime soon, I might have to consider alternatives.
For the next few minutes of the hike, I was feeling a bit concerned, thinking that I'd either made a wrong turn or that I'd underestimated how long and winding this particular trail was. Luckily, it turned out that my fears were unfounded. I just hadn't properly done my research on the trail system in this forest. I was on the correct trail, and it led directly to Hemenway Road, the main road within the forest. No bushwhacking required this time. I continued on, nearing the end of this trail as I saw the main road in the distance, knowing that I was getting closer. By now, it was 11:25 a.m., and I'd already been in the woods for about half an hour.
Alright guys, so I do have some good news, and I do also have some bad news. The good news is we've officially reached the end of this trail. This is the very end of the trail I've been walking along this whole time, and it actually leads us right to Hemenway Road, which is the primary dirt road that cuts through Hemenway State Forest. This is actually where we need to be to get to the coordinates. But that does lead me to the bad news. So the coordinates are all the way down there, but they're about a 20-minute walk away. That trail network I took actually brought us pretty off course. Now granted, a 20-minute walk is not a big deal, it's nothing. I basically just did a 20 to 25-minute walk down that trail network. So it's not that off course, but regardless, we are off course, much more than I anticipated when I took those trails. So we have to walk all the way down there to get to the coordinates. The coordinates are actually going to be on the right-hand side of Hemenway Road, and then we'll just have to do a little bit of bushwhacking to get to them. Shouldn't be too crazy, but again, we are off course more than I expected. Before we start heading north down Hemenway Road, I do just want to check this little signage right here. This is something I kind of want to check out later, but here in this forest is actually a fire tower, and you can see that it leads to the fire tower just right down there. Maybe at the very end I'll check that out, who knows. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just want to see what this said. Yeah, I mean, I will say, ever since I mentioned it, I have seen quite a few snowmobiles coming down these roads and these trail networks. So if you love snowmobiling, definitely come to Hemenway State Forest. It seems to be pretty popular with snowmobilers. You can definitely tell by the tracks on the ground. But yeah, we're gonna continue on. Should be a 20-minute walk, maybe 15 minutes to the coordinates, and then we'll check it out from there.
Now that I was on the final stretch of my journey, I began walking north down Hemenway Road, yet another snow-covered path lined with dense trees on either side. Snowmobiles were much more of a common occurrence here, and I saw a few more during my hike to the coordinates. That being said, once the noisy snowmobiles left, the forest was quiet, serene, and peaceful. I actually rarely wear earbuds or listen to music when I hike. Instead, I opt to soak in the sounds and background hum of the wilderness. It's pretty therapeutic and calming, and a good way to sharpen your patience and focus. Alright, enough Zen talk, let's get back to it.
You know, the crazy thing is, if I was doing this challenge in the summer, I probably could have just driven straight down this road, right to the coordinates, because it does look like this road is accessible to vehicles during the summer months. But since it is winter while I'm doing this, it's completely closed off to vehicles. Only snowmobiles can actually access it. So I have to walk all the way there. Again, I don't mind. I love hiking. It's a beautiful scenic hike. But it is interesting to think about. Because of the season that I'm doing this, it actually gives me a little more work to do to get to the coordinates, which in a way makes it more fulfilling. Just interesting to think about. Anyways, we are getting close. I really overestimated how long of a walk it actually would take to get over there. We're actually a little less than half a mile away, so it'll probably take way less than what I originally anticipated. Maybe like 10 minutes max. So we're getting close. We'll check it out shortly.
By now, I really was near the end of the trek. I was just a few minutes away from the coordinates, and I knew that I would be approaching them any moment. I still had quite a bit more hiking to do after I reached the coordinates, since I had to travel all the way back to my car, but this still felt like the end of an exhilarating experience. Eventually, I found myself just a stone's throw away from the final destination. All that was left was a little bit of bushwhacking to reach the exact spot, which, granted, was only a few feet off the side of the road.
Alright guys, we are getting extremely close to the randomly generated coordinates now, like quite literally a stone's throw away from them. They should be just down there somewhere. So we're gonna go check out exactly where we gotta go, because we do have to do a little bit of bushwhacking to get to them. I just wanna see what is this? This is like right near our coordinates. What does that say? This is not the Tamworth dump. I think that's what it says. This is not the Tamworth dump. Maybe people are like littering here or stuff. And that actually looks like there's another trail that leads right up there. That's interesting. So I do wonder if there's a trail back to where I parked, kind of close to where we are now. I thought there would be, like I said, when I initially researched this. So yeah, we're pretty close now. It's right down here somewhere. I'm gonna consult my GPS really quick, figure out exactly where we need to turn, and then we're gonna head into the forest and go to our exact coordinates, which, to be fair, it's not that far off. So as I speak right now, I'm standing directly in front of our randomly generated coordinates here in Tamworth, New Hampshire. So our coordinates are just a little bit down into the woods over there. As I said, a little bit of bushwhacking is required to get to our coordinates, but not by much. I'm actually standing on Hemenway Road still, right in the middle of the road. And our coordinates are just off this road right here. So we're gonna have to cross through this pristine snow into the woods and get to our coordinates. So yeah, follow me, let's do that. Let's see how much of a challenge this is gonna be, because I don't know how deep this snow is gonna be. So far, not too bad, but you know, with the forest, it can get pretty deep. Oh yeah, now my feet are, now my feet are definitely sinking. I feel like anytime you go into the woods when there's a fresh snow, it's like a gamble. You just don't know how deep you're gonna sink. You know what I mean? But we are heading into the woods right now. Yeah, there's my tracks coming out from the road. All right, let me calibrate once again, consult my GPS, and get to the exact spot. Well guys, we've officially made it. As of right now, I'm standing on our exact coordinates that were randomly generated for us by an algorithm online. This right here is the exact coordinates, and I'm standing on it. Pretty cool to see. Again, we're really not that far off the road. For reference, the road is quite literally just back there. If I had to estimate, maybe 60 feet, maybe 80 feet from the road, definitely less than 100 feet away from the road. But nonetheless, we are in the woods right now. We are in the forest of Hemenway State Forest here in Tamworth, New Hampshire. And what a lovely sight. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at those snow-covered trees and rocks. The ground is just pristine white snow. It's a winter wonderland. And again, this just goes back to my point. I love hiking in the winter. It's an underrated season to hike. Yes, it's cold. Yes, you gotta layer up. If you don't do well in the cold, you might not like it. But as someone who doesn't mind the cold, I personally love it because you get these scenic, stunning views. And in New Hampshire, no less. New Hampshire really is like one of the most scenic states in New England, if not the most beautiful. But we officially made it. Yeah, our official spot, the randomly generated coordinates here in Hemenway State Forest. What a journey it truly was. Well guys, we officially did it. Standing here at our randomly generated coordinates here in Hemenway State Forest in the town of Tamworth, New Hampshire, in a very beautiful region of New Hampshire, no less. And as I've stated many times, what a scenic journey it was. We saw all of the beautiful snow-covered foliage and scenery, the rushing streams, the ice-covered boulders, and we walked along all the trails and Hemenway Road. I mean, it really was a beautiful journey. I loved it. Not necessarily the most challenging journey of the series. This one wasn't too bad, actually. You know, I didn't hike too much. It was pretty steady most of the way. Even the snow actually wasn't that slippery. Despite the fact that this is fresh snow from literally yesterday, it wasn't too slippery. I didn't really have any trouble with traction or navigating.
it was a pretty solid hike overall. I would honestly recommend it if you ever find yourself out here in Tamworth. Definitely come to Hemenway State Forest, whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter. Beautiful place. I highly would recommend it. But yeah, we did officially made it. As I've stated in all the other episodes, one of the things I really love about this series is that when you randomly generate coordinates that are given to you by a computer algorithm, it's completely unbiased. You'll find yourself in places you probably never otherwise would have gone to or expected. Would I have ever thought that I'd be in Hemenway State Forest in Tamworth, New Hampshire on a cold January day? No, I never would have. Honestly, I didn't even have any plans to come to this forest in general anytime soon. But I asked an algorithm to generate me coordinates and it brought me here. And that's what I love about this challenge. It really does let you see parts of New England you otherwise wouldn't have gone to or even thought about or anticipated. It really is like a surprise. You know, you have an unbiased source issue you a location to travel to. Sometimes it's difficult to get to, sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it requires a lot of physical exertion and effort. This really wasn't the case. It was a nice stroll through the forest. And we made it. So yeah, episode 4 of randomly generating coordinates here in New England and traveling them. If you guys want to see more of this, definitely let me know. I'd love to do more entries in the series. I know I took a bit of a break between episode 3 and this one, but I definitely want to get back into it again. So again, let me know if you'd love to see episode 5. I would be happy to do that again. Before I do the official outro though, there is a fire tower in this forest not too far down Hemenway Road that I definitely want to check out. So stay tuned. I'm gonna head to that fire tower next, see if we can maybe check that out and even get to the top of it. I'd be curious to see what the views are like there, and that's where I'll do the official JMass outro. So yeah, follow me really quickly. Let's go check out that fire tower. Alright guys, we've officially arrived at the Great Hill Fire Tower, and from what it looks like, it is actually accessible, so we can climb up these stairs and get inside the tower itself, check out the amazing views. So I am going to head up there in a second and explore the tower. Pretty excited to do that because I've never been here before. I'm really interested to see the views up there. But yeah, join me as we head up the stairs. I do know that we've had far less stops on this episode of the series versus other ones. You know, usually in these challenges, I like to check out different stops along the way. And I know that we didn't really get to do that many on this one. We only really stopped in Meredith. So hopefully ending off at the Great Hill Fire Tower here in Tamworth is a excellent way to bookend this video. Anyways, we're heading up the stairs right now. As you can see, it is extremely sketchy walking up these stairs on the snow. I'm trying my best to be careful because it is very slippery, so be cautious if you ever come here in the winter yourself, but God only knows how beautiful it's going to be up here. Oh, I can actually hear the hum of a generator right there. Little generator. All right, we're heading up inside right now. I'm gonna keep that part a surprise, so join me. All right, guys, we've officially made it inside the Great Hill Fire Tower. Absolutely fascinating to see. The views are just breathtaking. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. These views are incredible. Just wow. So obviously here in Tamworth, we're just south of the White Mountains. So we're like right on the cusp of all the mountains. And you can see as I sort of briefly scan around, the views are incredible. I'll show you guys a more up close and personal view of the mountains in a second, but I do just want to show you the inside of this tower. Just look at, oh my God. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But this is the way down. These are the stairs right here. Again, because it is snowy out, the stairs are definitely a little slippery. You gotta be careful of that. And I do see a good amount of artwork. I don't even know if I would necessarily call this graffiti. I mean, I guess it is, but like it almost looks commissioned. Like this looks like commissioned artwork. I don't know if this is necessarily graffiti. At least it's not the type of graffiti I've seen in some towers. Fascinating though. All right, let's check out the views. This right here is view number 1. Absolutely stunning. Look at all of that. Oh my God. You got some beautiful mountain peaks right out there, and of course the snow-covered foliage right below us. Really briefly, I will show you what we're looking at. So these are some of the peaks. It actually looks like way over there is Maine. You can see Maine right there. Right over there is the Green Mountains of Vermont. Wow, pretty cool. Starting here, this is view number 2. So let's take a look at this. You got some up-close shots of snow-covered pine trees and some more beautiful mountain views right there. Check that out. Absolutely stunning. I really am speechless right now, but some more great shots right here. You can see some of the names of these peaks. Pretty cool looking. All right, this is view number 3, and perhaps my favorite view, because as I scan to the right, check out these gorgeous soaring mountains. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I mean, wow, just take that in. Sometimes you just gotta shut up and take it in, so that's what I'm gonna do. So pretty. Yeah, some beautiful mountain views right there, and then as you can see, some more of the peaks. A couple of these names I recognize: Mount Whiteface, Mount Passaconaway, I recognize those. Yeah, pretty cool to see, but beautiful. Oh my God, that's so gorgeous. And last but not least, view number 4. This is view number 4. It's a little tricky to navigate because I'm right next to the stairs, but yeah, look at that. This is actually one of the other trails, by the way, right down there. But this is probably one of the most prominent peaks right over there. Stunning. And I will show you the views we're looking at. That very prominent peak, by the way, is Mount Chocorua. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Please correct me in the comments. Mount Chocorua, probably pronouncing that wrong. Very, very pretty. But yeah, those are the views you can see from Great Hill Fire Tower here in Hemenway State Forest. I'm shocked I've never been here before. Oh, and they even have a little plaque. Check this out. The Great Hill Fire Tower. I'm not going to read all this right now, but feel free to pause it if you want to read it. It does look like it's dedicated to someone named Dana A. Steele, so rest in peace to Dana A. Steele. Looks like she really liked this fire tower. Awesome. Well worth the hike, I gotta say.
Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J-Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. And in today's video, we did yet another randomly generated coordinates challenge. The algorithm brought us here to Tamworth, New Hampshire, and Hemenway State Forest. The trick wasn't too bad, honestly. We went down some trails, went down the Hemenway Road, and then we eventually had to do a slight little bit of bushwhacking until we got to the coordinates. But we ended off in a magnificent place, Great Hill Fire Tower, with some truly panoramic, scenic views of the surrounding mountains. The White Mountains, the Green Mountains, and everything in between. Truly fascinating. I will say it is freezing cold up here. My hands literally feel like ice blocks. I'm gonna keep this brief, but yeah, anyways guys, if you love traveling across New England, seeing all the sights this beautiful region of the United States has to see, I'm always doing that on this channel, as well as other randomly generated episodes. I've already done 3. This is number 4. Let me know if you want number 5. I'd love to do it. I do want to give a shout out to all my channel members. You can see them all right here. You guys are awesome, and I'd love it if you too, a viewer of this episode, would consider becoming a channel member as well. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly, and I truly appreciate it. Or you can follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. But I've been JMass as always, here in beautiful New Hampshire, and I'll catch you guys later, because I gotta put mittens on ASAP. Seriously, you have no idea how cold it is up here. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. See ya!